Welcome back to the LJL, everyone. Hello, Sam. Hello,
Hi.
Fast Swan. Welcome back, guys. Um, we are about to jump into the last match of the day, which is Rascal Jester versus SoftBank Hogs. I apologize for my mistake in the, before the break, but
We've all
let's.
been
Oh
there.
no, don't laugh. It makes me cry. But all right,
What?
moving on.
Yes.
I would love if production could bring up the graphic with the
Yep.
standings. Let's take a quick look at what's going on here. Now, it's a little bit outdated. So Sengoku and DFM are now tied because DFM managed to pass them, and so on and so forth. But we have here this big middle of the pack with SoftBank Hogs, and we have Burning Core, Rascal Jester, and Crest Gaming and Axis. I would love to know what you guys think if maybe these teams kind of don't fit in the same bag, or who is going to
Yeah.
end up moving up or not. If you can give me a little light, it would be lovely. And we can begin maybe with Sam.
Yeah, so we've got 4 teams currently tied at 4 wins. Now, Rascal Jesters has still got their game to play now, so it's their opportunity to break out of that tie, because otherwise what's going to happen is you have 4 teams tied at 4, and that means that one of those teams, as you can see, will end up slipping into 7th and out of playoffs. And that is a very dangerous position to be in, and a lot of those teams do want to try and make sure that they are getting out of this very tight group of teams. And honestly, after that last game, it's like, how good are Axis? We know what CGA are like, very inconsistent. Burning Core on a 3-loss streak. Rascal Jesters not looking particularly consistent. It's actually not especially easy, at least off eye test, to say which of these teams actually looks better, because there's been so much inconsistency. Even if, say, history and player names and all the rest of it might make us put favor on one team or another.
Lexi.
Well, for me, honestly speaking, I'm just really worried that the side of the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming, while they are in the standings, the 3rd place team, I don't really feel like that's an accurate representation. They've just kind of picked up wins when it's been fortuitous for them. They've capitalized on misplays, and they've been very good at picking up when other teams fumble in certain spots. Maybe slight decision making, they have been the benefactors of. I don't want to say the Hawks aren't the 3rd best team in the LJL, but they feel more like 3.5, and some of the other teams feel like they're kind of very close, and they're only 0.5 of a place away from them. And honestly, Rascal Jesters can be one of those teams. We've seen them before stumble in the early parts of the season and then well and truly glow up. I'm reminded of similar seasons where they've gone on undefeated streaks through the 2nd round robin and 3rd round robin. So I honestly think let's not get too scared that the wheels are off for Rascal Jester, because they could actually just be putting them on. They're revved up like an F1 engine and they're about to go off.
And in terms of... Oh, go ahead, Sam, please.
Just stepping on this one briefly, because, just on that thought, sorry, not to keep us derailed for too long, but it's also, there's something to be said for, in splits past over the last couple of years, the 3rd place team has often been competing for the 1st and 2nd place. At the minute, it feels like they're competing for 3rd. They don't feel like they are at that really top echelons. And that's the difference for me. I do feel like Hawks are the 3rd best team, but it feels like that's the limit right now. And there's still room to grow, but that would be my kind of caveat to put in. Whereas these other 4 teams, currently one of them is dropping straight back down into 7th, and that is a scary place to be. And we need to start seeing some improvement coming into this later round robin.
Well, we have to agree that it must feel very safe for the top 2 being so ahead, and I'm wondering maybe they would drop a few losses and things will change, but I'm not sure if it's looking that way. So
I'm going to double down with what Melvin has said in that post game. I don't think either of these teams will lose a game except to one another.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think that's kind of exciting in a way. It sucks for the rest of the pack, right? But I am always going to be up to watch Sengoku DFM. So, well, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the history between these 2 teams. What do you guys expect them to be drafting today? What kind of plays are we going to be seeing?
Oh, I'd like to see something spicy from Solan's Secret, honestly. I want to see a Draven pick. Honestly speaking, I think that would be spicy. Outside of that, maybe an Ino on a Nocturne again in the top lane. It's not good anymore, but I mean, that'd be fun. That'd be a weird callback, seeing as we just saw an Axis Nocturne.
Right. All right. Well, sorry, Sam. You're going to have to give your thoughts in just a minute because
Tragedy.
we are heading over to picks and bans, and I will see you guys in a little bit.
Thank you so much, Lara, and we will indeed have fun. And I think that was a fair shout out, Lexi. I feel like bot side focus may well be the play. It's often been how Hawks have been getting their wins recently. Dash and Blank roaming down to make sure Marble gets the resources. And honestly, another one of those players that's had a bit of a glow up in summer and across summer. We have begun to see why this guy was pretty highly touted. Still a bit of growing to do, but for a rookie, it's good to see he has been improving and becoming a force to be reckoned with. On the other side, it is Sol, it is Secret, even if they've not been at their peak form, still a very deadly duo and one we have high expectations of as we come into this game.
Well, and they have been a deadly duo, but ever since that summer, the end of the summer in 2021, where we were like, hey, they just didn't feel like they were quite on the same page as the rest of the team. We're yet to really see that spark fully ignite once again for the side of Rascal Jesters. Hopefully we can actually see a split from them. Interesting thing, though, about this pick and ban phase, we haven't talked too much. Zeri is still around. A lot of the hype... Okay, well...
Yeah, the moment you spoke about it, it just disappeared. In fairness, Zeri incredibly busted right now.
Well, and for these both 280 carries and everything else. Well, my whole point was destroyed. Thank you, Hawks, for doing that. And maybe we're just on the same page as their coach. Maybe that's how that worked. I'm not a huge fan, though, of just blind picking Gnar. This isn't Ebby Gnar, this is Ino Gnar, which is perfectly fine, but Kinatsu has been very clearly shown that they will gladly counterpick in this matchup.
And I agree. What I will say, though, is that it's becoming more common to do that with Gnar. Post a lot of the nerfs to champions like Jace and a lot of the old counters into it. And the durability changes have made Gnar a lot safer, and you can play split push, and you can play weak side, and you can play strong side. That versatility and the ability to survive a lot of matchups makes things pretty dangerous. And yeah, you can still pick Aurelia, but that's a hard champion to play. You've got to put a lot of time into it, and a lot of top laners don't have that ability right now. And so I think the value of it as a blind pick has gone up. It does have a leaf the Poppy up, as we've said, been very, very strong in the current meta. We'll see whether, as you mentioned, Kanatsu's got something he feels comfortable to play into the Gnar. Obviously, back in the day, it was things like the Camille, and see whether that's an option in the current meta and in the current read that the Hawks have about how they want to play as a team.
Yeah, we just got a graphics bug here, so we're waiting to see what was locked in. It was locked in. Another champion was locked in for the side.
We don't know what it is.
SoftBank Hawks. We will find out. Normally, it comes around on the next rotation. It's just weird things.
Is it going to be Nyla or something like completely? Of course, she's actually not enabled, but it'd be like something incredibly surprising, like Belveth or something. I'd be down.
I'm actually thoroughly enjoying my time with Nyla at the moment. Oh,
another blind one! Bugged. All right, we've got to have an imaginary draft. So, what do you think Hawk's second pick was?
All right, so I really hope they went for an AD carry, honestly speaking. And then I'm expecting Rascal Jesters now to be responding with their own bot lanes. I'm expecting top laners have just openly gone for it.
Beautiful. So the response, Hawks have gone for Rel and the Tristana, something that both of these players have been using in recent weeks. Reiner made his name on that Rel back in the summer of 2020. And of course, Marble been looking very strong on the Tristana as a big demolition unit. But Rascal Jester decided to answer with fire with Inferno. Lucianami hyper aggro bot side. We said bot side focus, and that is definitely a way to do it.
Oh, 100%. Let's get aggressive. Let's get in their faces. Is interesting to see, obviously, the response to Rel being that Lucianami, obviously just trying to fight fire with fire. So, we're going to have to see how good Marble is at Goomba Stomping. As you've mentioned, they're really good here, but that does mean junglers are open and mid laners are open. Obviously, that Poppy is a flex between jungle and top lane, so got some versatility here. We'll get to see how the Hawks want to respond. Obviously, though, Rascal Jester, let's just ban all of the mid lane champions. Let's make Dasher seem less important. There's already been 3 mid lane bans for the side of Rascal Jester. 4th one, I have to imagine a 5th will be coming out, and I'm expecting it to maybe be an Ari with how this comp is going through.
Oh yeah, would be making a lot of sense
if they really wanted to.
Yeah. Hawks decided we're going to pinch the jungle pool and get Hachimetra off a couple of those bruises he's felt a little bit more comfortable on. We have had some questions about Hachimetra in the current meta, so I think that's a wise pick. But of course, Dasher has been the superstar for the Hawks as long as this organization has been this organization, having taken the slot over from Unsold Stuff Gaming. He's been their franchise player, and even when the team has struggled, he still looked like a star in his own right. Gwen, though, is more of a takeaway from Kinat, when it does mean a little bit of a reprieve from Dasher, who might not have 5 champions taken away from him.
Oh, woe is Dasher. But he is also a flex top laner, so the Gwen ban might have also still been a target
I know.
towards them. And this Gangplank could also be a Dasher mid Gangplank. Oh,
Prowler's Claw Gangplank mid. Out there, Hip Brain is approving, I'm sure. He's a bit of a GP mid player. Yeah, I agree. I think it's another way to potentially attack that bot lane, right? Like Lucian Nami go in and suddenly Rel, Tristana, and this Gangplank and this Poppy all try and blow you up with their various abilities from across the map.
So let's see how the side of the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks will respond to Rascal Jester's lock-in. Rascal Jester going with the Ahri that I alluded to, and the Vi coming through for Hachimecha. You want a brawler? Maybe what about number 1? The original OG brawler champion in the jungle, made famous so long ago, Vi coming out. And honestly, point-and-click ult, pretty solid against the team sometimes, where you just need to get to their backline.
Absolutely, and now it means it's a lot harder to try and disengage. You can jump away, Tristana, but you can't jump that far. Potential response, though, of the Swain, which is another bit of zone control. Yep, I suddenly feel like you're diving into Vi, you're diving into quite a lot of areas you don't want to be in. Of course, it's still the Poppy, right, who can block a lot of what Vi wants to do, potentially. So, don't mind a lot of what Hawks have into this, but some explosive drafts, nonetheless, from both of these squads.
Well, and even worst case scenario, Marble just ult the Tristana away. Just joke. No, not having her again. Or rather, Tristana ulting Vi away. That's what I meant to say. Honestly speaking, I think this is a really interesting change in pivot on the last 2 from the side of the Hawks with their 4 and 5. They went from kind of, we can either really be heavy engage or heavy disengage, kind of a very flexible draft depending on what 4 and 5 came through. The GP's just always going to a lot of composition. So then they bust out the Swain in the 5th one to basically completely nullify if they wanted to go for dive, which is what Rascal Jesters end up drafting into. I think this is maybe the worst case scenario really for Hawk for the side of Rascal Jester. Actually, I think this is great for the Hawks, and honestly, now it falls on Rascal Jester to win and win hard.
Yes, it does. Apologies for my slight distraction. I was just looking up to see whether Hachimecha has played Vi before. And I don't think he has, at least not in recent memory. And that's what's getting me a little bit interested. So I'll double check and see whether there is anything in here. Don't think he's played a Vi game. And of course, we've had a little bit of Vi around the world, but not a huge amount of it in the LJL. So this will be a first-time pick for this jungler who has been struggling to find an effective champion pool. And this is a way to try and play around that bot side, as you were saying. But, you know, you've got the Poppy, a lot of disengage, the Steadfast Presence, the Keeper's Verdict, you've got the Cannon Barrage, you've got the Demonic Ascension, hell, you've got the Rel Magnus Orb. That's a lot of circles you do not want to be getting in melee range of.
It's always weird when a player has more Bel'Veth games than Vi games. Now he's tied with that, so at least we get there. But yeah, Hachimecha never played that. So then, how do Rascal Jesters attack this game? Right. Well, they win hard, and they win hard early. That's how this is going to have to work out for them, right? Pre-14 and really pre, 3rd Dragon, they need to have at least a 3 to 4k gold, realistically here. They need to be far enough ahead where if they do get caught out, they can turn the fight, right, from the side of the Hawks. Whereas for Hawks, if the game goes long, they're going to win. Like, that is built into their composition. You've got a Swain, you've got the GP, you've got a Tristana. The range is going to be off the charts.
Absolutely. On to the Rift we go.
Oh, this is a weird one, Initialize. This feels weird because I want to be Rascal Jester's favored, but the scoreline, the current wins to losses, everything is telling me Hawks are favored here.
Feels like, and again, they've drafted well. We've seen Marble on this Tristana, and we've not seen a lot of people pick up the Tristana outside of Marble, but it's a pick he's looked pretty comfortable on. And let's be fair to this player. This was someone we had a lot of, I'll say expectations, but I think a lot of eyes on as well. We had a lot of, hopes for this player. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. You know, rookie coming in, was a superstar in the Academy League. Lots of people, a lot of praise for this guy. And the entry in spring was a little underwhelming. I think that's fair to say. And of course, you know, as we've said, multiple times now this broadcast, AD carry is a tough role to slot into in the LJL. But now, as this summer split has gone on, he has gotten better and better and better, and he's picked up the Tristana, and he's beginning to feel more and more like an active, deciding member of this team. But of course, because he is leashing for his jungler, it's giving Sol and Secret a little bit of room to take control of a lane, and that is always a dangerous thing to do, to see how Marble and Reinhardt handle the slight discrepancy in early lane pressure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, on average, at 15 minutes, so this is using GOL, ladies and gentlemen, that's why the stats are a little bit weird. He commonly, at 15 minutes, has a 1k gold lead versus in the bot lane. He normally has also got plus 600 experience. Like, he is just committed to farming and going through this routine. It's going to be really important for Rascal just to kind of match that or even exceed that, because if Marble gets away, we've seen that the Hawks are very proficient at just kind of playing through Marble, which is so interesting because I feel like that's where they stumbled in spring. Marble is well and truly a player, and we saw this on V3 Academy. You live and die by them. If you commit to the Marble idea, you'll be rewarded with dividends. But if you don't, you can struggle, and that's honestly kind of how that works. We've not mentioned that Blank is counter jungle.
We've been a bit distracted. Yeah, Blank with a spotted jungle start on Hachimecha's side, gets in, steals the red buff, is now going to steal the Krugs as well, and then get out here. Might even get to look for a gank at level 3, completely unexpected. This Lucian Nami is in so much trouble. The Steadfast Presence forces an early flash knocked back towards the Attract. Repel, he goes down to first blood to Marble's explosive charge.
That was so well comboed, Reiner. This is why you are like maybe one of the best Rels in the region. I actually want to now just say he's the best Rel in the region. There is so many small things that he did there with the extra auto attacks weaved into some of the abilities. He double stunned Sol throughout that. The cleanse as well, the knockback from Blank, and Marble being able to get the bomb, and then the whole team disengaging, going, yeah, no, we're done. We're done. Even with Secret, with the heal, we don't have to worry about anything. And look at this. This is just complete mind control. He was looking to see
whether he could get a hold of that topside Skullcrab. Won't quite be able to manage. Kinatsu pretty low on mana. Will spot out Hachimecha with the Vision Cone. Very wise. The double hop from Ino might give an opportunity. Here's the Meganars coming through. We'll have that available. Flash from Kinatsu to get outside of the punch. And we'll get out of danger.
Thankfully, they did get the flash, honestly, for the side of Rascal Jester. That could have gone from even worse. I don't even know if they technically needed to flash. It's better safe than sorry, but we're coming back to this replay as Blank is just doing another red buff. But watch what happens here. Reiner dashes forward, forces the cleanse really early, does actually get another stun on there as well, forcing so much. Blank with the pushback as well, so much displacement, and you know they've got that flash and cleanse timed for the side of the Hawks. So you know where Blank is going to be interested in going. Once he completes his clear, goes back to base, resets, and then comes back out, that flash is still going to be down.
Indeed it is. And, you know, nice attempt there from Hachimecha to try and recover, especially after the early pathing. Mind games from Blank, another player who's honestly stepped up after some pretty heavy expectations on his return to the league here in the LJL. You know, former world champion, SKT player, all of that job. The Blank Knight, this guy who was something of a super sub and then a superstar for forever long. Yeah, exactly.
He didn't win Worlds, though.
You know, he got very close to, I think, wait, did he not in 2016? Was he not? Because he was there, and of course, in that semi-finals versus Rocks Tigers.
Yes.
Where he subbed out for Bengi coming in to play the Nidalee and turning that play around. And that's always been something of Blank's, shall we say, curse, his horse. He's always been the additional member, the player who's had to have the substitute, right? Like he was behind Peanut and then starting for him and then subbing out again. And he's never really had that chance to be the true superstar completely in his own right. And when he has been, he's never quite managed to make it stick as hard, especially when he's been on such legendary, high-pressure organizations as SKT and then into KT afterwards.
Well, and funnily enough, the side of the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, they're their main connection in League at the moment. Honestly, a team they are using the resources of and have a direct connection with their academy team is T1,
right?
his former team. Like, the Hawks are still integrated with Korean League. They even had their academy team actually play in, I believe, it was one of the 3rd or 4th division tournaments. They only got to play one game, and sadly they lost that game. And then it was like a BO1, like you play 3 BO1s
show
and then
match
you make
kind of
it.
deal. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. And it's like, if you win 3 BO1s, you actually get to play in the tournament. But if you don't win 3 in a row, you get auto out. And
it's one of those ones. Yeah,
quick way to wean teams in and out. But it's like the Hawks are playing in this, and they're continuously committing to it. And Blank, I want to just stay on him because he is that player that has had such an improvement over from when we've seen him previously. He was great with Sengoku back in 2020, remember? And hopefully he can reprise that, because I don't think the jungle pool is quite what 2020 was.
No, and thus far on the Poppy, doing a lot of work. Managed to get that early gank going, and those 2 players we highlight, in Blank and Marble, 2 of the biggest glow-ups from spring to summer, doing very, very well. On this side for Rascal Jesters, it's been a little bit of an unfortunate early game considering what they drafted for. Still recoverable, of course. Still Heralds and stuff to play for. But Sol getting ganked unexpectedly. Hatchemecha not tracking what was happening in the jungle. And that's honestly part of the team's fault as well.
It was.
Has put both of those players a little bit further behind than they would have liked. And Kinatsu's flash kind of close to coming back off cooldown in this Gangplank. Now with the Cannon Barrage, a lot harder to gank again. And need to see Rascal Jesters step it up shortly, or this game, as we said, going to end up more in Hawks' favor as the game goes on.
Oh, I was just watching the mini-map for part of that. Literally, like, Rascal Jester were, like, pinging the side of the red buff, and at the same time, they're, like, pinging. Blank's got to be coming out of his base now, and then the moment they do that, Blank is like, red buff's up, I'm running down there. Immediately starts running down. Decides to take his blue buff. I think that's the correct play. Take your blue buff. But, Blank has got 6. Hatchemecha has got 6 now. So these ultimates very much do change the dynamic of how these fights can go. That's
very smooth. Visions of Empire used to make that transfer of blue buff very easy indeed. Now with the Dragon alive, looks like Blank might try and focus this one early. Of course, with Herald up as well, that's another potential option, but feeling happy to leave that for a moment or two with the bot side pressure. They'll roam Marble up, but maybe instead, just thinking, with the Soul walks forward. He's dead to right. He'll flash into the Cannon Barrage, but a heroic charge secures it nonetheless. Marble gets that one, and Soul thought something was up, but there was just so much catch, and he is murdered for the 2nd time this game.
Yeah, just playing up. No vision for the side of Rascal Jester. And they now know where Hatchemecha is at the moment. So that's why Kinatsu's playing so far back. They've got that pink wood, which Hatchemecha didn't even decide to try and like clear out before taking it. They're just like, no, we know what's going on here. You're bot side. You're going to be doing this trade. You're killing our AD carry. You're taking Soul out of this game. And we highlighted Soul and Secret so much in the pregame because honestly, that was the shining light for Rascal Jesters. They have always been the killer bot lane, and they're just struggling. Look at this. No vision. Nothing. Reiner just runs into a bush, and that's who you want to follow? And you're sending Lucian in first?
Baited so hard. They saw the Dragon Star on the wall. They went, excellent, they're on Dragon. And it was all a ruse to get into the bush. That, I don't know whether that was deliberate by the Hawks, but it plays out so well for them. Oh, Sol is going to be furious about that one. What a vision toggle by the observers.
But you've also now got to think about it. The Cull is going to take longer to stack through now. He's a full mythic down at the moment, and he's not close to his mythic as we currently can stand. Marble, this just accelerates them further, and Lucian does not beat Marble. Well, Lucian does not beat Tristana at 16, past 16. There is just a range disparity.
I mean, of course, Lucian Army has always got slightly scary assassination combos, but, you know, you're down 2 kills, you're down an item, you're down 10 CS, you're down 2 plates. Like, getting to that kill threshold is going to be pretty tough. There will be a Vault Breaker available, but I don't think they want this 2v2. Blanca's had Hatchemecha's number this entire game, and unfortunately, that's led to Sol's demise. Just steady laning advantages and steady gank advantages coming through for the Hawks as they step in instead onto this Raptor pit and just say, yeah, you can't even have those.
One thing I would like to, or when we eventually can, if we can see how many crows Dasher has already got at the 10-minute mark, because that's always a great way to know how the lane's normally going for Swain. Kanatsu's just getting smacked by Aino here, but I don't think he's dead.
He'll be okay. He's still got oranges to go through. He's going to clean up this wave and try and get towards level 9 best he can. Of course, Hachimecha has got the Herald as a result of the play that happened bot, so some room for Rascal just to try and turn things around. But I think all things said and done, Hawks pretty happy with the trades they have made thus far this game, and Kanatsu eats the orange and tries to deal with the unfortunate amount of poke and harass he's suffering in this lane thus far.
Yeah, his barrels aren't also allowed to stay out for very long. He has almost got that cannon barrage.
It's looking more and more like Link. Just no Vars will be left unsmashed.
Break.
Rupees!
Break. More money for me! Well, that's honestly more what Marble's saying at the moment. Again, who has pulled ahead to at least a 1k gold lead against his enemy bot laner.
Does that mean if we end up with some sort of, like, I don't know, fantasy Riven skin, does that mean she'd maybe like the ultimate counter to Gangplank, who's like the Vars merchant, like some like proper Legend of Zelda style deliberate counter?
So.
Herald summon top side. Maybe we'll pull back from this tangent briefly. As some fairly significant macro plays are happening. I believe this will secure Rascal Jester's first turret. But I don't believe Marble and Rhino will be all that far behind.
Well, no, and I mean, you cannot. This is a concept I love to talk about, which is funneling gold and where your gold is actually going. Because half the time, it's great if you have a gold lead, or oh my god, they're only like 1k down at the moment. Is Rascal Jester? Yeah, it's really important to actually understand where all this gold is at the moment, because having gold on like Hachimecha for like turret, he wasn't even there for the nearby turret gold. That all went on to Aino. Great, you've got a lot of gold onto Aino. That's a Gnar. Now, we saw Gnar have a lot of impact in our previous matchup, for Yellow Yoshi especially, but it's not like Yellow Yoshi is in this match, and this is a very different game for a Mega Gnar. Mega Gnar is like the tank for the side of Rascal Jester. Hachimecha is going to be a mix of damage and tankiness for the early portions of this game, so it's all on Aino to be a tank. This is not a spot where you're like, okay, he's going to be able to put out a huge amount of damage, because if you look at the side of the Hawks, displacement from Blank, displacement from Raina, Kinatsu, so much damage with that ultimate. Dasher, you can't kill him. Marble, Goomba jumping around whenever he feels like he's in slight bits of terror. It's kind of like, well, all your gold is in really awkward places. You actually want it to all be on Soul and Recap, and it's not all there at the moment.
I completely agree. And, you know, when your win condition is this Lucian, and the Lucian is the one that's been suffering this game, yes, you get some gold onto Aino, and that's definitely not a bad thing per se, but in the grand perspectives of the game, as you were kind of talking about there, it's definitely not optimal, I think it's fair to say. And I'll also take this moment to point out an unusual item for this Swain. It's neither the Leandries or anything like the Imperial Mandate. It has instead gone for the Crown of the Shattered Queen, obviously valuing that kind of burst protection this game.
And I think that's an actual pretty heads-up play, because in this spot for the side of the Hawks, they're not actually losing. If anything, they're actually ahead, and being able to be kind of a secondary tank for the side of the Hawks, becoming invulnerable, reducing so much, well, not becoming invulnerable, but just reducing 75% of the damage coming through, being able to proc your ultimate and becoming an unkillable monster, and just the raid boss along with Blank as well. It could become really difficult for the side of the Hawks to ever do anything. Kanatsu, you're never getting a barrel. This is actually getting kind of... This was funny to begin with, but now it's sad.
He's having a bit of a tough time with this one. But again, he's doing just fine. He knows his role. It's play weak side and offer cannon barrages to Marble, who is definitely being the carry this game. 2-0 as we've stated. Got a lot of that early gold. And Dasher doing just fine as a secondary position as well. So I think Hawks relatively happy with the game as it stands, up about that 2,000 gold mark, 3 seconds or so until Herald number 2 spawns, and that might be the angle right now for Blank, who is certainly hopping over to see whether there is an easy option to take it. Might just walk across this ward. No, it will stay there. So that control wall behind the red buff, forever a notoriously difficult one to walk through and spot out, so we'll allow Rascal Jester some information on where the Poppy is.
Well, they do have an idea that the Poppy is on that side of the jungle, but I mean, it's 4 members of the side of Rascal Jesters currently taking this Rift Herald, so they'll just do a trade, and it looks like actually Hawks are preparing and going, hey, if you want to come mid, what about if we're all mid before you?
Gonna try and knock away this Ari. Misses. which was a nice attempt. The charm comes through on the blank, who just step up to claim the shield. This tower about to fall. And now the Magnet Storm afterwards! It is a storm of doom. One dead already. Flashing forward, the demonic ascension rolling. Will not secure anymore, but they will keep recap alive on, I don't know, it felt like sub 10 HP. They get another kill onto Soul's Lucian, and they get the tower. Hawks win out in that trade.
Wasn't quite 3 HP, I don't think, but pretty close.
Yes.
Pretty close. And I mean, how does that play go from bad to worse for the side of Rascal Jester? Well, it's because if you just look at this game, the state of it is, at this moment in time, Hawks understood what they wanted to do. They're like, hey, let's just play for mid. Yeah, that's what you guys want to do anyway. Reiner showing why he was the best around the region. Little bit of an awkward engage there as Hatchimech actually, Blank actually went in, pushed them away. Why don't all of the damage stayed there? I think if the extra GP could have done it.
Wide, they're going to go in with the cease and desist anyway. Hachimecha is losing this fight. Flash out from the Aqua Prison, and even in a 3v1, Kinatsu pretty much comes out on top.
Well, he walked forward at the end there. He was like, come on, fight me again. He's like one of those guys at the pub. Yeah, he's like, I'll have you. Come on, I'll do it.
Break your kneecaps, mate.
Not in my swamp.
He was last game. And after that haunted graphic that Chris came up with, I'm a bit concerned whether he's got some plans for this game at this point.
I want to see Kinatsu with the GP beard and everything, because he's so like young and clean shaven and everything. It's almost like a horrible like opposite world. Outside of that, though, maybe Marble on this Tristana. That'd be cool to see, actually, as he is making a big name for themselves. Or Reiner on arguably maybe their best champion, and I think it's not even close now. Reiner did have a few other champions he was very good at, but this Rel, they're kind of living and dying by it. I am hopeful that we'll get to see a few other champions really showcase as well, but currently these Rel engages have been, well, game-changing every single time so far, and Kinatsu has just been told, play the side lane, just do what you're doing, farm up as effectively as possible, and throw a cannon barrage when the team fight begins, and they've just kept winning through that. So hey, Hawks looking to maybe pick up another one, and that would very much definitively put them at that third place spot, and then the rest of the pack are playing for the next thing.
Buried by the scuttle crab, Marble's going to go back and get that, and it's like, damn it, needed one more auto. Heals back up, but that will secure it. Second item's in for this Tristana. Maybe Soul can stop a reset here, and they're going to summon the Herald on the other side, alongside Aino, who's continuing to get resource, I guess. The decision has been made that Soul's too far behind, and maybe this now can be a split push win condition. Again, though, it feels like a bit of a consolation prize at best. And when you said about optimal plays, this doesn't feel like it.
No, the optimal play is not to summon the Rift Herald to get staggered by the enemy team's wave coming in, which now means Kinatsu just gets to very much take this escorted wave. If you would actually set it up perfectly, you get probably 2 hits with this Herald. A little mistake like this. We've seen a lot of these little mistakes from Rascal.
Needs to be afraid, gets knocked up. He's still got a flash this time. Has got a cannon barrage, trying to heal the best he can. Will not be able to get out of this one alive. No summoner spell to survive. And finally, Rascal Jesters get themselves a kill on the board.
I felt towards the end of that, he was frantically hitting his flash key and then realized, my flash is down.
Yeah. Whoops.
Okay, well,
Dasher
guess I'm
lands
dead.
another move, and a death's hand afterwards. And Hawks, despite losing their top lane, I feel like they've still got potential to trade this one out. Of course, there is the ultimate down from Vi, which makes her less valuable. And that will make things significantly easier to work with as this dragon fight's about to kick off. Missed the Caper's verdict, but Dasher has got the demonic ascension, goes golden to avoid the Aqua Prison, knocks that Vi into the wall. The explosive charge on top will not secure the kill. Dasher survives on the other side. Dragon secured by Blank, flashing over the wall for that hammer blow. Will secure that kill. Now Rascal Jesters on the retreat, doing their best to get out of this fight best they can, but they are corralled and on the wrong side of the map.
Wait a moment.
And I don't think, Lexi, they've got anywhere to go.
Wait a moment. That's not where you want to be.
Interview the dive. That's one for Marble. He'll be looking for some more at this point. The auto's coming through. He's drawing a bead, all right. Barrel's coming through, and you might want to knock him out earlier in the game, but you won't get them this time. A trial by fire and a double for Marble seals the deal for the Hawks.
Yeah, and the DFM emblem as well. Weird way for your emblem to be for when you get an ace, but maybe flash up the team that is the most dominant one that we have ever seen in the LJL. Let's go back into this team fight, because for most of this, they're actually doing it 4v5. They've got a few more seconds. Again, Poppyult going wide from Blank, sadly. However, Dasher plays this front line beautifully, and ultimately, Hachimech has to flash out of this dragon fight to then get back in. It's a lot of disjunction from the side of the Hawks and Rascal Jester, because Hachimetra is just nowhere near the team. They don't even get the dragon. And then, as you put it perfectly, they're on the wrong side of this jungle, and there's no escape now. And honestly, this is really uncharacteristic from Rascal Jesters. Of past, we haven't seen it. And it's not like anything actually changed between 2021 and 2022. It's just some of their game-making decisions, and maybe the Juggernaut patch is still affecting them. It's just,
Yeah, like, honestly, big part of it for me is that mid-jungle has not had the pressure they once used to, and it's really hurting when this bot side is trying to play aggressive and get punished for it, and you can see it in the gold. Huge lead for Marble. Who would have said that even a month ago? As massive stun onto the wall in secret, about to burn out as Blank can't quite secure it nonetheless. And the ebb and flow will keep the Nami alive. Attempted pick from Hawks doesn't quite work out. They burn quite a lot of ultimates. Maybe this gives Ino a chance to get some gold back on the other side of the map.
Maybe Knossi is here to match him, though. Oh, thank God he got that. He got that barrel.
Finally.
And one barrel just clears the whole wave, so it's fine. It's fine. Kanatsu has gone for crit build because he doesn't actually have to be a tank or even a bruiser.
It's becoming more and more common. The bruiser build's definitely fallen off in popularity, even when it was like Zeus who was the big one.
I mean, it just makes more sense. You just do more damage now. And I mean, there's been some recent changes. I mean, this is an effective way to actually beat the Ebby. To beat the Ebby. That's how much Gnar in my head is connected to Ebby. I just called Gnar Ebby.
Yeah, honestly, so true. Soul point, though, for Hawks right now. A little while until the next dragon spawns, but they are up a very healthy amount of gold, and a lot of that is a very dangerous position. A 3-item Tristana versus a 1.5-item Lucian is a bit of a discrepancy.
And let's just talk about this Dragon Soul for them. Hextech Soul on a Tristana at like 23 minutes in. Well, it'll be 25 minutes in. I think that's a good way of saying win chances. If Blitzcrank came back, probably in like 95% chance that Hawks will win that game. I feel like that'd be fair with the turret gold and everything else. Like, there's a lot of bounties on the line currently for Rascal Jester. That is an angle in, but it's going to be a tough one as they're 6k down at the moment.
Yes, they are, and they've got to try and find a way back in, find something, do 2 items on Ino, and a miracle flank engage might be something, but I feel like you're really hoping for something resembling like a second item on this Lucian, and still ways off as Ino being forced out of this lane briefly with Marble, who was just looking to see where there'd be an option a minute or so until that Hextech Drake. And Rascal Jesters, the timer has been set. It's a minute on it. And you've got to be prepared to fight at that point, or you're going to be facing down a Hextech Soul.
And the game will be over. I'm very confident in just bringing the move down just a slight bit, because the game will be over at that point. There is honestly no hope. Lucian Nami, they spike in the lane pre-6. That's where their damage is, and then when they hit 6, they can very much kill almost every lane. As we saw, Blank did that very fancy invade at level 1, took the red buff, went for golems, left a few camped, came around at level 3, gets the kill, and honestly, the tempo of the game was set then and there, and the Hawks have just been very quietly just going around the map, just clearing up, playing effectively. TP coming in, I believe that's recap, so they're not going to have that down. Hextech Dragon is 10 seconds away, and let's see how they're going to play this one.
Yes, they are. Ino's going to try and trade, but not nearly a Mega Gnar. That's the charm onto Marble, who has to cleanse, and then Rocket jump away, but now the turnaround's coming through. The Mega Gnar not going to be there. They've got the stopwatch to prevent an easy turnaround. Buster shot not the best, and they tried to get the execution and couldn't quite make it. Shot down onto Marble. That might be something to work with, but now he's gone golden. There's a Demonic Ascension running, and Dash is looking to punish the death of his AD carry. Drags Nami back in with the never move, and she'll be never moving anymore because she's 6 feet under. 2 more kills. Yes, you got the AD carry, but at what damn cost? Every flash but souls down, and they'll retreat back to the Hextech Dragon.
Yeah, you used everything. You got on him. And what did it cost? Everything. Everything.
Literally.
This has gone from bad to worse. And honestly speaking, it's great to see that they've got the idea. They understood they needed to kill Marble. But if you watch how this fight goes, Marble got enough damage out to get rid of Ino out of this fight. And all their gold, remember, that we highlighted a lot earlier, is on Ino. So Ino goes in, he's playing the front line, but look at where the rest of the team are. Soul's nowhere near them. And Marble this whole time just chunked out Ino. Okay, this is great. You got onto him now with Hachimecha. Recap flashed forward. But as I said, what was it all for, though? You killed their carry, great. But then if you don't win the fight afterwards, it's all for naught. And Kinatsu's got several items on this GP. Dasher has been left alone for most of this game and now has 3 items. Like, you don't win just by killing this Tristana anymore.
It's a pretty heavy AP build from this Swain as well. It's not a burn build like with the Leandries. It's not the Imperial mandate, you know, set your team for success. You know, he's got Zhonya's and the Rylai's as well. So he's got 3 items, so doing a fair amount of work. Hachimecha gets found out by Blank with the Hex Flash into that crash down. He's just gone. GA comes through, the tidal wave is there, but it's not going to wash away the enemy team anytime soon. Demonically ascends does Dasher, and he's just going to continue to run over these team fights. Ina tried to find the flank, but already his team is dead and has to run for the hills. And Hawks head straight back to Baron with the jungler dead. And they have the man advantage and the smite advantage with the purple worm plus the Hex Soul.
Yeah, this is just going from bad to worse. They'll gladly trade a mid-tart. That's fine. Have it, Rascal Jester. You can have the extra bounty gold because, quite frankly, the Baron will be maybe the end, and you're having to tank a lot of damage, honestly speaking, here from Dasher and also
prevents
Kinatsu.
Anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of just extra damage coming through. And now you've got to just deal with the fact that the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, they have a Hextech Soul, they also have the Baron, and they have a level 15 who's honestly not far from hitting 16. Probably gonna hit it before 30 minutes, which is probably the death nail when he hits 16, I feel.
3rd item just completed for the GP. There's that LDR for all the penetration he could be asking for. That ultimate, those barrels going to be hitting incredibly hard at this point. Got 4 items complete for this Tristana alongside the stopwatch. You're right, the level 16's nearly through as well. And Lucian hasn't even completed the Infinity Edge yet on the other side. Like, this game, it's been done for a while, but now it's pretty much completely done.
Yes, and now we're just going through the motions, as I love to call it. Not poetry in motion, sadly, as they walk. Well, maybe a Swain walks, because he does have a bit of swagger to him with his walk around.
Maybe we just call it the funeral service. It's the last rites of Rascal Jesters before they're put to bed last time. Perhaps a little bit morbid, but either way, they are struggling in this game indeed, and they've got to try and hold on against a very steep mountain to climb, and they're going to just get another heroic charge into the wall onto Hachimecha. I'm not going to force him away for now. Dasher, all the while, split pushing in mid lane, will likely get that turret, and Blank continuing to play Guardian on the side, making it so difficult for Rascal Jester to try and even find that man advantage. They're going to try and look for something, Vault Breaker forwards, but bold enough to pull the R button yet.
Well, it's also the vision that the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks have, or rather had, with most of the jungle of Rascal Jester on that bot side completely lit up for them. So they know where Rascal Jester are going to rotate around. They know that Swain's going to be fine. Okay, now they've gone mid. All right, now we get to collapse on this turret, and they're just pulling them around, getting a few towers down and just really wrangling control of your enemy, who basically are having to go 3 or 4 members of sacrificing waves. The top side has been completely ignored!
Oh, big engage again. Kinatsu gets that one with the cannon barrage. And the circles of doom continue to be a disaster. A triple now for Kinatsu. Is that a quadra? Can he secure something like the penta? He's hunting for it. Where is that damn fox? Playtime is over. And Kinatsu wants that glorious, coveted pentakill.
Oh, boo!
It's not going to allow it to happen. One for the barrel. Not there in time. He gets back to the base. And he will deny Kinatsu that pentakill he was so desperately hunting for. Game's over, though. Hawks still find the win. And Hawks now on a mighty win streak of their own. Prove why they are solidly on an upwards trajectory through the standings here in the LJL.
Absolutely. Rascal Jester just kind of getting pulled around, unable to figure anything out. And I believe that's the 5th win in a row for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming. And they just go from stride to stride to stride. What a game to end us out.
Absolutely. What a convincing win, guys. Wow. Maybe you can walk us through a little bit what happened in draft there. And wow, that Swain, I'm just a big fan.
Yeah.
But...
I mean,
yeah,
like,
Swain happened.
You draft for winning bot lane, and then Blank
Yes.
kind of pulls off some cool, cute jungle pathing. You get summoners in a first blood onto the Lucian. It goes on to the opposing Tristana. It was lights out from 5 minutes in. The rest of it was just, you know, what would you call it? Window dressing. There's the term.
Window dressing. All right, Lexi, your thoughts.
Yeah, and Rascal Jester, their gold funneling, as I love to call it, where the gold was on the wrong members, sadly. They didn't have a lot of gold on this Ahri, so recap couldn't even be a pick option for them. And when Rascal Jesters finally did find some picks, it was so late into the draft, it's like it didn't really do anything. Remember, they did get that pick on Marble very late into the game, but by that point, 4 items had come out for 3 items were out for multiple members. Only Marble was 4 items, and there's just so much you can't do at that point. And then they played the game so perfectly. Honestly, if anything, credit to the Hawks. They are playing like a third-place team, and Rascal Jester, a bit of a shell. Other thing is, the Hawks finally beat Rascal Jester! Woo! Let's go, Fukuoka Hawks! That is a final boon that you've got that monkey off your back. Let's go.
All right. Well, Puppy has been pretty convincing. I feel like it's a fair trade here.
It was a bit, and like, let's be real. Hawks have been looking like a much improved team this split compared to recent times, and they finally beat Rascal Jester since Sol and Secret arrived, as Lexi was saying. They've never got that win. They've never had that W, and this is a big one to get. And it also, let's be real, puts Rascal Jester down in the dumps with all of those teams tied at 4 and 7. And honestly,
it kind of does.
Gets a bit scary from there.
It is a bit scary. It feels like they have been a little bit wobbly. Why do you guys think that is?
I'm probably going to say 2 things. I'm sure Lexi might have his own thoughts. And it's something we've had a couple conversations about in the past. But for me, it's Recap and Hatchametcha have not been as proactive as they have been in the past. And it's led Sol and Secret to still play proactively in lane, but without the support to do it safely. Sol and Secret then get punished. You don't have any other carry options, and the game just falls apart from there.
Yeah, no, I want to double down. Honestly, I also think that Sol and Secret themselves, individually as a 2v2 in lane, are kind of getting skill matched now. We highlighted it a bunch throughout all of today, actually. The bot lanes are really good in the LJL. It's kind of our specialty area, I would almost argue at this point. It's weird. You've got a world where you have Utapon, one of the longest, most tenured players of any league in the world. Yeah. Actually, more tenured than Faker, technically. We can make that technicality.
He's not been subbed.
He's not been subbed. He's even played top, remember, recently for us. So, I mean, the man is of many talents here. And honestly, that's where I feel like, sadly, that's where Sol and Secret are getting a bit skill checked at the moment. It's not been the breakout performance that they had in spring and summer of 2021. They've struggled a bit throughout this year, really, for me. And that's where, honestly, I would like to see, hopefully, Rascal Jester turn it around, because that's where they always used to have their strong point.
Sounds good. And now sorry, production, I could not hear that, actually.
Oh
my God! What is this?
No.
I now wish I could have not seen it either.
The old one? Really, Chris?
Oh, the lollipop. You actually even dyed his hair to fit in with the pop. Oh, Chris, that is... I have seen some cursed things in my time on this broadcast, but that is very near to the top. What horror have you unleashed upon the world?
I think the skin should have never happened in the first place, because only really cursed things came from it. You guys know the lollipops in the splash art.
Yeah.
Good lord. Yeah, it's just as cursed. Oh my God.
In all credit, though, I do actually think Blank was probably my MVP. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Now this game has started to my mind for many reasons.
Our creative director is very smart.
So We both agree on. You both agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, on MVP.
I'm
Sam's not
quite
sleeping
uncomfortable. No, I'm gonna like curl up with the light on. I think will be the plan. Otherwise, that will be visiting me in my dreams.
Oh yes, that Shrek and many more cursed things that we have seen this broadcast. To be
The
quite
day is all
honest.
over now.
Yes,
Oh.
it is. But we had banger matches today, guys. If you could rate what we watched today, what would you say, Sam? Top 1 match today.
I think the most entertaining match was Burning Core versus CGA. What a very high action, high drama game that was.
Yes.
I would argue our best game potentially is DFM Sengoku because DFM just put on a clinic. And that might be another argument. But for me, probably Burning Core CGA.
Okay, so that's Burning Core CJ is the worst match of the day for me. So I think we are definitely on different ideas on how we're judging them.
Play-by-play brain.
Yes, you play-by-play brain. Me, host brain? I don't know. My favorite one will be that DFM Sengoku game. It was a complete opposite from what we had seen previously last time in that day 1 versus day 11. I think it's very much perfect. I'm looking forward to that third game to see how it does go. Otherwise, though,
hell yeah.
I was really excited by Axis V3. There are a lot of good things from V3 in that game. It didn't work out, but Axis looked really good, and I'm excited to see how Rascal Jester Axis goes now. So excited, but DFM Sengoku, best game of the day.
Yes, actually, I am quite on par with you. I think V3 put on quite a show, and I was quite happy to see them. I'm a bit
Screw
sad
you,
that
Sam.
they didn't.
Thanks, guys. Been ganged up
favorites here. Yes. Well, not really. We all have our opinions. It was just, instead of saying the same things, it was just easier to say, hey, I agree with you.
Hey, I've inflated his ego a lot through this broadcast. I have to bring it down
a peg or two. That's fair.
All right, guys. Well, good games today. Yes, I guess we can all agree on that. Any final thoughts on today, Sam?
The fight for those 3 remaining playoff spots, the 4, 5, 6, is going to be incredibly spicy over the next few weeks. So do keep your eyes on that. And Sengoku and DFM, well, that rivalry continues to be a really cool one. So those are my 2 big thoughts out of today.
All right. Yeah, they're kind of in the VIP line, though, so it's a little bit different.
I know.
All right, Lexi.
I don't think, unless V3 have to beat CGA in 5 days from now, on day 13, or they will actually not win a game for the rest of the year. That is my hot take, and I'm going to say that now because honestly, Axis look like they're several levels above.
They could literally go to the answer to life, the universe, and losing everything in the LJL. 42 could be the answer.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
oh my God!
Yes, maybe that goes, like full circle, and then that makes them be the team that will go 42-0 next year.
Who knows? Maybe that's the true, like, get the death. It's like TFT. You lose streak to get the gold income for later on in the rounds. Hit the next round.
Exactly. Oh, sorry, Lexi. All good there. No.
The TFT reference killed me a little bit.
It's so true, though.
Oh, I had a long lost streak of 10 yesterday evening.
Oh, brutal.
So it feels the wound is fresh. I did
Felt
go
personal.
top 2 though, so it's okay.
All right. Well, guys, great time chatting with you. Great games today.
Well.
Quite exciting. Yeah. Thank you all for being here, and I think it's time to wave goodbye. Yes.
Johnny.
All right, everyone.